Before I get started tonight, I've been dealing with so much during this pandemic that it's making me want to set up some rules. Rules that'll need to be accepted in our society if we really plan on making it better for us. These rules, they're new. So let me spell them out for you. Start the clock. New rule. You know this new battle royale game, Fall Guys? You hear about how people are cheating just to win the game? Those people are sucky. Why play a free game only to cheat at it just to win a new costume for your player? New rule, if you're going to be cheating at a video game, how about you cheat at the game of life? Rob a bank, punch a baby, pause when things get too hard. Maybe you'll finally win at something. New rule, win. And what's with this pandemic? Is it the coronavirus pandemic or COVID? I thought one causes the disease while the other is the result of it. Media people, get it straight. It's one or the other, not both. New rule, a pandemic's a pandemic, so wear a mask, you bunch of cheaters. And how are we still so racist? What's the point in hating someone that doesn't look like you? By that notion, we should all hate animals, bugs, or aliens for that matter. New rule, hate aliens. They're not even from here. Go back to your planet, unless you're here to save us from ourselves. Then you can stay. New rule, all hail our new alien friends, saving us from our own stupidity as well as their Gorganians and religion. Here's my final one for the night. New rule, if you're doing a Bill Maher parody, make sure you actually know what you're doing. Otherwise, you'll end up making a cold open for news time.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the rule change news that you didn't know about. Now, believe it or not, the coronavirus pandemic has changed the way we look at pretty much everything in this world. News pundits are constantly talking about civil upheaval around the globe, and ESPN analysts are finally talking about how much black and brown people mean to sports. And famous people are talking about how they may not be the most important people in the world right now. Imagine an ending to this joke. And bouncing off of that, award ceremonies are now also trying to figure out how they can figure themselves in support of the movements that are going on as we speak. Now, let's start with the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences, an organization mired with accusations of racial inequality and the like. Every year, a movie is nominated, like, say, Green Book, that panders to the brown communities. No one but self-serving whites go see these movies because they're important and, in an overreaction to all of it, end up nominating said movies to the highest guarded awards. Highest regarded. Highly guarded. Whatever. That's not to say that movies like Green Book, The Help, or even Hidden Figures are quote-unquote bad movies. Only two of them are. But they are made with, what's the word I'm looking for? Bad intentions. White people want to see these movies be made to win awards because it's as far as they'll let brown people go before they get too big. Plus, it makes the whites look good. On the flip side, black people go to see these movies because it's good for their culture, which it's not. It never was. Pandering is not flattering. I just want to watch movies where there's a black Superman or Asian female lead in a rom-com without having it be a big deal. And that future has grown ever closer with the Academy's new rules in regards to inclusion. The short of it is, you want your movie to be considered for an Academy Award? Make sure there's equality both in front of and behind the camera. For everyone, gay, disabled, lady parts, or not, everybody needs to be represented. Now, it does sound convoluted, and it is, but I'll try to clear up as best as possible for you, dummy. High on regards or not. The Film Academy's new rules are set to go into effect for the 96 Oscars in 2024. You know, if the world doesn't explode or something, I don't know anymore. Broken down in what they refer to as standards. Standard A deals with on-screen representation, requiring movies feature different ethnicities, a varied ensemble cast, and/or a storyline centering on said varied cast. Standard B is basically the same thing, except creative leads and department heads, such as the director and makeup artists, are be diverse. Further roles are below the top echelon, like gaffers must be diverse too, and the crew as a whole must be 30% diverse. Standard C requires the movie studios and distributors making the Oscar hopeful must have internship roles and skills development for those searching for employment within the industry. And the last standard, D, says the same companies must have diverse senior executives on their marketing teams. Now, at first glance, it seems that the Academy has come very close to solving its inclusion problem. Responses have been tepid. This is the Academy, after all. Anything it does is bound to be hated. Well, for one, the new rules only apply to the Best Picture category, not animation, writing, the rest of the ones I pretend to care about. Additionally, if they were to be implemented in other categories, indie films, for instance, would have trouble with standards like paid internships, and Pixar would have trouble hiring people of color because they don't do that, period. Coco and The Princess and the Frog were directed by white guys? Get out of here, Disney. Oh, and Black Panther was only subpar, too. Yeah, I said it. Even with the pushback, Academy Chief Executive Don Hudson and President David Rubin are steadfast in their commitment. Speaking with the LA Times alongside producer Devon Franklin and Paramount Pictures' top boy, Jim Giannopoulos, the team clarified their future plans for inclusion as well as they could. Highliest, regardedest. The responses are your typical boilerplate fare. However, the rules are more or less easy to understand. Just hit any mix of the categories within the 4 standards and you will be golden. Of course, this begs the question, are these rules too safe? Perhaps. Any movie can cast at least one lead that's disabled or ethnic. Many don't. Irishmen, Little Women, Ready or Not. Sorry, I had a cough. But that's the end of this sentence. And studios like Paramount and, yes, the House of Mouse do have big enough internship programs that they could skate by on these guidelines. But in the interim, the Academy is laying tracks as to what diversity could potentially look like in the movies. There are workarounds here, and I'm sure companies will find their ways around hiring people of color, women, people with disabilities, and every mixture that isn't white male or female. This isn't season 22 of Big Brother. Seriously, the committee, aka the whiteys who hate the brownies, can all eat my butt. And yeah, I might like it, I just haven't tried it before because women run away from me, but that's beside the point. The committee still sucks. 5 years after an annoyingly wide-spreading hashtag, the Academy is finally setting out to prove it's working on fixing the problem. No, I said fix. Okay. Here's the thing. Nothing's going to change dramatically overnight or over the course of the next 4 years, but they're trying. Which is more than I can say about Little Women, a movie about rich white women complaining about life or something. I don't know, don't care to see it. But things that rich white women will not complain about is subscribing and checking out one of our other videos. Of course, you can head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where there are so many great interviews with your favorite comedians that you'll go, boy, all right. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chad Black White. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And hark, what is that I hear? Oh, it's a Karen complaining that nobody was paying attention to her.